Hi, it's Don and Jen Coward again, here with our stewardship campaign update. We are working on our 5G network. We have gratitude, God's grace, generosity and giving, growth, and gathering.
Last week, we talked about how this was going to work. Each week, there's going to be a theme. Like last week, we talked about gratitude, and there's going to be an essential question that we'll send out, and then we'll send back the responses and put them on the idea board and share it with you the following week. So for example, one we talked about last week was gratitude and stewardship being our gratitude for the gifts we've been giving. And this was the word cloud activity that we shared with you last week. And if you remember, we talked about how the words that are the biggest were the ones that came in the most frequently.
Our second G was God's grace, and we came up with an essential question, and we asked each other and ourselves, how can we give generously to St. David's on the Hill in gratitude and God's grace? And people responded in a few different formats on social media. They emailed Jen, and we took all those responses and we organized them into a different kind of idea board.
So this is called a jam board, and this jam board has what looks like Post-it notes all over the screen. And on each Post-it note, we've put people's answers. And we got a lot of responses, and we were so happy to see so many people responding in so many different ways. So in answer to how we can give generously in gratitude for God's grace, you can check out all of the different things that people said.
You'll notice people talked about prayer. People talked about how they can increase their own giving. People talked about how they can do more for the church. And then there were some really creative outside of the box ideas that people came up with that are definitely worth discussing in the future. Our third G is generosity and giving. And we had listened to the reflection this morning from Ben West, and we actually changed up this slide. We do have a link for the reflection here in the slide, but we also are going to send the link in an email and post it on social media. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, you can go back and watch it again. He really had us thinking about generosity and how we share our gifts with St. David. So our third G is going to be, after hearing his message, what thoughts do you have about showing generosity and giving?
So as an example, after we heard the service on Sunday and we heard his message, we immediately were reflecting on our giving and thinking about the things that he said and how we can apply them to our own lives and how we can increase our giving and be more generous to St. David's in the coming year.
So we will take your responses just like we did before in all formats. We will post them in a third idea board to share with the church. And we will be back with you again next week to kind of update you on where we are. As always, we appreciate all your input, your feedback. It shows that St. David's is alive and well, and people are really interested in coming up with some outside the box ideas to move our church past this pandemic.